So you and I know that cybersecurity is one of the most important conversations that you can have with a business owner. But the business owners themselves, well, sometimes they glaze over a bit, don't they? I've got a special guest today who's about to reveal the surprising secret for how to talk to clients about cybersecurity in a way that always interests them.
Hi, I'm Craig Taylor, CEO and co-founder of CyberHoot. We teach cyber literacy to the world.
And what a mission that is for you, Craig. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. We're going to talk about how to have those important cybersecurity conversations with your clients without having to delve into fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You know, FUD, everyone has heard of FUD. And for many years, that was the standard way of having the conversation about cybersecurity. But things have moved on. Cybersecurity itself has moved on. The conversations need to move on. And you're obviously an expert at doing this. So that's what we're going to delve into today. Just first of all, tell us a bit about you. So how do you get to the point of educating the world about cybersecurity?
That's a great question. So if I go back in time, I have a degree in psychology, and I knew right away I wasn't going to do a PhD, so I decided I have to get a job doing something else, and I fell into cybersecurity. For 30 years, I've been doing cybersecurity, had my CISSP in 2001, so lots of experience trying to build resilient cybersecurity programs for businesses from Fortune 500, JP Morgan Chase, Vistaprint, down to the MSPs of the world, where I've spent many years working with MSPs. And what I found on the market was really disappointing. It was fear and uncertainty and doubt, shameful, you clicked on a phishing link and now you're punished. That does not change behaviors. And a light dawned on me about 6 years ago within CyberHoot's 10-year journey. I remembered my operant conditioning psychology degree, which says, essentially, for 75 years, punished behaviors are never extinguished. They don't stop. It's an external focus or locus of control. But rewarded behaviors are repeated. That's been proven as well. B.F. Skinner did, and lots of studies since then. So we pivoted at CyberHoot. We said, stop punishing and shaming people with fake email messages to the inbox. Those messages where your IT team sends it to you or your MSP, and you click and, oh no, that was a test. I failed it. Now I've got to watch this video I'm not in a good mood to watch. I don't want to learn. There was a study recently at Black Hat last year that said people spent 10 seconds watching those videos and then they walked away because they just aren't in a frame of mind, and it doesn't change behavior. So we changed to a in-browser exercise where you choose safe or unsafe indicators throughout an email, 6 or 7 different questions, the sending domain. And the beauty of doing it in a simulation in the browser is we can emulate real hacker domains. So we can change an M in Microsoft or Amazon to an R and an N, similar to what a hacker might do for a few days before the domain is taken down. So our testing is much more well received. As an MSP, I think the listeners of this know your lifeblood is the value you add to your customer relationships. If you're sending fake messages to the inbox and tricking your clients and their employees, you're eroding your lifeline. You're sawing the branch you sit on off the tree, right? What you need to do is reinforce good behaviors, reward and gamify that experience so that people want to participate. And that's really what we've been able to accomplish in our exercises. We have leaderboards that suddenly we introduced leaderboards maybe about 4 months ago. And Paul, we started to see senior leaders at the companies we train starting their assignments for the first time. The only thing we could think of is that they saw their leaderboard status on this anonymous leaderboard. We're in a company of 100 and I am 95th in the list as a leader. I can't do that. I can't be 95th. I have to be first at everything. And so they started doing the training. The gamification makes it fun. It makes it like play instead of work, and people get engaged and they compete with one another. We get support tickets like, why is my colleague ahead of me when we've done the exact same things, right? And so people are having fun learning cyber literacy, and the behaviors are sticking. That's the big thing. The outcome that we just always sought after and wanted was people to look at an email, go, I remember my Hootfish training. The sender looks, oh my gosh, there's a period in the wrong place. I'm not going to click. I'm going to report it.
Yeah, I love that. And do you know what? As you were describing these psychological concepts, that makes perfect sense. I have a 15-year-old daughter who right now, as
Okay.
I'm recording this, she's about to do her big exams here in the UK, which kids do sort of 2 years before high school ends in the US. But in the UK,
Yeah.
they're called GCSEs. And any UK
Yeah.
MSPs listening to this or watching this on YouTube will know that you have like a month of hell where you're trying to drag your 15, 16-year-old kicking and screaming through the most important exams of their life that literally dictate their entire future. But they're not yet quite mature enough to get that, because it makes a lot more sense to do it at 18, right? Anyway, so I figured out a long time ago that the stick doesn't work, right? The carrot absolutely works. And we all know this inherently, and yet it's weird, isn't it, that we've developed all these, and I say we as a channel have developed all these cybersecurity programs that are stick. You've done the wrong thing. I'm going to hit you. And maybe it's
Right.
because exactly as you said, and I can't remember the psychology word you used. Was it locus of control? So
Yes.
is that it? So it's
Internal versus external.
yeah. So as the leader of a big business or a big whatever, if I've got 500 people that work for me, it's easier for me to hit the 200 people that do something wrong, because I can figure that out more easily than constantly rewarding the people that get this right. Is that correct?
It is and it isn't, right? Because you want engagement, and engagement only occurs when you reward good behaviors, when you have positive reinforcement, right? Think about dog training. You can train with a shock collar or treats. And what does the dog prefer? Treats. What does the owner prefer? Treats, right? We don't like to press the button and shock our dogs. But the best analogy I've thought of is back to the children, right? My 3-year-old daughter was walking towards the road one day in our backyard, and I didn't notice at first. And I heard a car coming, and I saw she was close to the road, and I screamed as loud as I could. And she froze instantly, sat down, and began to cry, which was the exact effect I wanted. But that's what our fake email phishing testing is doing. It's freezing people in the moment from clicking, but not teaching them why. I had to work with that daughter for the next 5 years to say, look at the cars going by. It's really dangerous if you were to walk out on that roadway without knowing that you look both ways, and teaching them the positive behaviors to exhibit before they could go out on their bike and those sorts of things. That's what we've forgotten to do with our employees. In the moment, clicking on a fake email can lead to drastic consequences. Ransomware, is this email compromised? And down the road, wire fraud, all horribly, hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages, right? So the thought is stop them in the moment, but that doesn't work long term. You have to educate them on why and how it works. With the Hootfish exercise we do, I like to say we teach people how to fish, PHISH, feeding them for a lifetime of secure, efficient, confident email processing. And they internalize it. Users internalize it, and they enjoy learning the lessons instead of the slap them on the wrist. Oh, I won't click today. Like, that's feeding them a fish for today. Tomorrow, they're going to click again.
Yeah.
You need to explain the whys and the hows.
Yeah, I love that. And make it fun. Make it fun is the big takeaway from this. So we're going to talk in a second about what exactly your business does and how you work with MSPs. But before we do, let's take this one step further. And so obviously you've got the software solution, which is your answer of how MSPs can make it fun. But what are some other ways that MSPs can have the right kinds of conversations with people without falling back on fear and uncertainty and doubt? What techniques do you suggest that MSPs use, or avenues of conversation other than the software solution?
So you need to explain what the companies out there are up against, right? There's a lot of folks that don't know what they don't know regarding cybersecurity, right? So you can explain that the number one way companies are breached is email phishing attacks. The number two is password hygiene. So when you're sitting down with a business owner, you can ask things like, well, have you funded and encouraged the adoption of a password manager, for example? Because if you haven't, then you're guaranteed that all your employees are reusing their favorite personal password on their VPN password. And if it's not MFA'd or two-factor protected, hackers can just look it up on the dark web and log into your VPN. Done. You're done. I mean, that's not fear and uncertainty. That's just facts, right? And so you need to explain what's out there, what the biggest risks are. phishing is the largest risk today because AI is creating 10 different emails that appeal to you, Paul. Your specific social media profile online can be fed into AI, and I can send you 10 things that you desperately want to click on because it pertains to your passions in life, whether you like, your children, your dog, your sports, your family, your business, and you'll want to click on those things. So we need to teach exactly what's going on in those spaces. And you just have to have a candid conversation with your clients to say, these are the ways hackers are breaking in. Then we can also help you with things like data retention strategies. I worked on a forensic investigation, a law firm this year that had 20 years of case studies on their network, and they were breached and the data was exfiltrated, and they had to go talk to or email or contact 20 years. They had to find the customers from 20 years ago because they didn't know where they were.
Yeah.
Now, if they had done any kind of data retention strategy that said, we haven't touched anything older than 5 years old, and archive that, they don't have to delete it. They can archive it to a place where it's safe and it's offline and it's available. It just can't be attacked. It can't be stolen. And they would have had 5 years of this or 3 years of this or the current company, current work that they're doing. So you can have these really candid conversations with your clients about easy, simple things you can do to mitigate risk. And truthfully, these methods like Password Manager, it's an efficiency tool as much as it is a security tool. Password resets waste 10 hours a year per employee times 100 employees. You've got a lot of lost productivity there. And employees are happier when they actually can click a link and get to where they need to go and they're logged in automatically. So those are the kinds of conversations I would recommend.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Craig. Let's just very briefly finish with, tell us a little bit what your platform does. What's the benefits for MSPs of using this? Although I think we've just been talking about that for the last 15 minutes, let's be honest. But also just tell us where can people get in touch with you and come and see what your software does?
So reach out to sales@cyberhoot.com and you can book a free demo, and we have a free trial for 30 days if you wish. We'll give any listeners to this that mentioned the MSP Marketing Podcast 20% off for 1 year as a discount. What we do is we send out short 3-minute videos once a month, short hootfish exercises in the browser, not attacking people in their inboxes. So it's a complete awareness that I'm going to learn about phishing. I'm not being tricked. So it builds your relationship with your clients. Okay. Retention goes up with CyberHoot versus down at fake email phish testing. We also have dark web monitoring. We have, a whole bevy of things, product training. When you roll out that password manager, we can send your employees one email with 10 links to videos from 1Password or Keeper or Bitwarden to teach your users how to use this product, reducing the cost to your help desk of tickets, right? How do I do this? How do I do that? So it's 100% automated. Many of the products out there take a lot of precision work to define these specific fake email phishing tests. It can be too hard, too easy, and lead to a lot of erosion of goodwill. With us, it's 100% automated. You don't pick anything. You just turn it on, synchronize with Google Sync or Microsoft EntraSync, and it runs itself. It's the lowest cost of ownership out there for a learning management system for MSPs in a multi-tenant environment. And our website is cyberhoot.com, cyber, CYBERHOOT.com.
For MSPs around the world, the MSP Marketing Podcast with Paul Green.